UTSA women's basketball coach Karen Aston in the center. On camera left, graduate student point guard Leon Negron. And on camera right, redshirt senior forward Jordyn Jenkins. One day before UTSA hosts Senior Day on March 1st, taking on Florida Atlantic. And this is going to be a little different than our typical press conferences in this room. We kind of just want y'all to reminisce on your basketball journey. And so just to start, Jordyn, if you'll kind of talk about how you got into basketball, Nina, you can follow her up. If y'all have any questions for each other, want to pick each other's brains, go for it.
Okay. Well, I started playing lots of different sports growing up, like swimming. I was even in Taekwondo for a little bit. And I was, a cheerleader too, but in 2009 I started playing rec basketball, and it was a co-ed team, and I still have like a couple friends from that team, actually, a little fun fact. But yeah, it's just been a really, really long journey, and yeah, I started off in rec, and then it kind of just went from there. I don't know.
You mentioned a couple friends. What do they think of what you're doing now? Do they always see Jordyn Jenkins becoming point on it? Or?
Yeah, I know they're proud of me. There's one he's a guy, and he's just been supportive of me, and like we even like went to the same high school and stuff. So yeah, it's cool just getting support from my friends and just doing things that haven't been done yet and being supported by it. It's cool.
It wasn't always basketball, right? You mentioned Taekwondo, cheerleading. When did basketball turn from something you were doing to something you loved?
I think I just really enjoyed it as a little kid, and my siblings also played. I have two older siblings who played too, and we were playing lots of different sports anyway, so it was just fun doing things that I was good at and I didn't even know. I think the main thing that was fun is that I didn't care that I was good, or none of that really registered.
Nina, what about you?
So it's kind of like the same as Jordy. Like I played a couple of sports, but I didn't do Taekwondo, however you say that word. I did do swimming. I was a gymnastic for a little bit. I did volleyball. I wanted to do every single sport. And funny story is that I used to live in front of like an open court. Like I don't know if y'all remember seeing like, a lot of open courts in Puerto Rico, like no roof or anything. And every time that my mom would like drive to our house, I would be like looking at the court and looking for balls. Like sometimes they would shoot and leave their balls there, and I would just come out running out of the car and just grab the basketballs and put them in my garage. I had like 20. I was just stealing them, and my dad was like, "There's something wrong here. Like she might actually like basketball." And I also tried volleyball for a little bit, but I was a setter, and every time like I would try to set it, I would like hold it for too long, and they would call something. I was like, "This is just not for me. I need to stick to basketball." And like I kind of just did that and just went out from there.
It's interesting that you were a setter and a point guard, two positions in that sport where you're facilitating the offense.
Yeah.
How much of playing volleyball do you think helps with basketball?
Oh, I think it actually helped a lot because you need to be like really vocal when you're a setter. So, it was just meant to be.
Curious both for Nina and for Jordyn. Can you remember the first time you met each other and what your impressions of each other?
Oh. You want to go? I can go.
You're gonna be rude.
No, I'm not. So I remember when I got to UIW my junior year, like we were gonna play UTSA, and I didn't know like the rivalry. I come from Tennessee, whatever, and it was like apparently like a really serious game. Like we needed to win, and then like I remember in the scout, whatever, Jordyn Jenkins, like we needed to double her because she's good. And we actually doubled her, but she still had like a really good game. But I do remember that I went for a layup, and she blocked my shot, and she yelled at my face. I'm actually never gonna forget that. She just went out. I don't know what I did to her. I actually wasn't talking trash, but that was our first encounter, and I thought we weren't gonna be friends, but yeah.
I have a question. Was that before or after like the free throw?
That was before the free throw, so you had no reason. Yeah, you didn't have a reason. The free throw incident was after.
No, I honestly think it's funny how that was like our very first ever like interaction was like me getting switched on her. It was like a low clock, high ball screen switch. And yeah, it was, I blocked her shot, and then I don't know what I said. Give me that.
You probably cussed?
Yeah.
No, we're on TV.
Oh.
Well, what was the free throw incident?
I actually didn't do anything wrong. Like, Sydney was shooting, and it was a close game.
She does this now, by the way. This is...
Yeah, and she, missed the free throw. So I was coming in to go to my position. I just, tapped her in the back, and I said, "Good shot, do it again."
The other team?
To Sydney, yeah. She wasn't on my team by then. And Kira just started, trying to fight me, and, yeah. But I actually didn't do anything. I just wanted to get in her head. but that was the incident. We ended up getting like a double take or something, but we got the win. That's all that matters.
Coach, what was your first impression of these two?
In the same game?
Yeah, we can start with that and then.
Well, I mean, that's what made me want to recruit Nina, was just the impression that she gave me in that game. I didn't know about all this trash talking going on, but I knew that she lit us up in that game, and you could just tell how competitive she was. And yeah, it was a missing piece for sure that I knew we needed. Jordyn, it kind of interesting, but I recruited her when she was in high school, when I was at Texas, so I had been watching her for a really long time. There were two players on her, well, one and Jordyn on her club team, and I actually took a trip. She may not remember this, but I went to watch her practice. And then I watched, she was on a club team called Tree of Hope, and I saw them play a lot of games. So, yeah, I've been watching her for a really long time. I wish I could see this one play a little bit longer, but we had a short stint.
Coach, on this special team, how much of the personalities of these two define what this team has been?
Ooh-wee. You know, it's interesting. I think they're just, I mean, everybody always talks about the point guard as the head to the monster, and that's absolutely the truth with this team. But I would say we have a two-headed monster from a sense of just leadership and playing off of each other and knowing like they kind of understand if I'm getting on the team, then I probably need to be the positive one. It's sort of like coaches, to be honest with you. Our staff is like that. They've learned how to play off of each other too and play off of me. And I think that's always when you have a successful team, is when your players can become an extension of your coaches. And that's kind of what they've become. Our team has a lot of personalities, but they're definitely in the lead as far as that's concerned. And they've learned what the team needs. And I think probably that's because of the efforts that they've made off the court to get to know their teammates and spend time together, so they probably know each other's personalities a lot better than I even know that they do.
You talk about overcoming something. These are two young ladies that have overcome a lot to get in this position here. And we all know about Jordyn's injury history and what she's accomplishing now after all of that. Nina was somebody that moved to the United States not knowing English and has carved a path here in basketball. Is that resiliency something you look for in a recruit, or is that just something that comes with the process?
Yeah, I mean, I would never have wished their journey as far as, you know, the toughness is concerned. You would never wish either one of those things necessarily on anybody, but it's what they were given, you know, and what they've done with it's been really, really something really special. I mean, what I look for is what they have innately, which is winning attitudes. I mean, if I had to pick one thing that when I look for recruits, I mean, other than, you know, position and what you need, it's an understanding of winning. Like, have they done it before? Do they know what it feels like? And are they accustomed to winning? And these guys are winners. I mean, they've won a lot in their lifetime, and they understand what it takes to win.
For both of the seniors, when Nina got here, at what point did you realize that you two were going to be very close in leading this team, and what did you start to appreciate about the other one?
I'll start.
Yeah.
Well, whenever Nina first got here around in the summer, I noticed how vocal she was, and like off rip, I kind of knew how like much of a hard worker she was. She had already been like getting shots up with one of our assistant coaches and one of our old players as well. So I knew that she was dedicated, and I knew that we're going to be on the same level mentally.
I would just say, like, throughout my whole career, like, I always wanted, like, just a post player that I could just pass the ball and just give me an assist. So just, like, coming in here, I just knew that Jordyn was that person, and I knew that it was going to work out. I mean, I didn't know in the side of, like, being friends how close we were going to be, because actually she might not remember. But when I came here on my visit, like, the one-day visit, I remember that one of the coaches that's when she said that she was leaving, and they were all like kind of sad and crying, but I remember that all of the girls kind of say hi to me, and Jordyn didn't. So I was like, oh, I don't know if we're gonna actually be close, but that just went away. I mean, I think it's hard for her because I make her laugh a lot, so I think she struggles not being my friend. Or maybe she tried, but I'm not sure.
probably hard to think about this in the moment and with a lot of basketball left, but Coach, you've had a lot of special senior classes. What will you remember about this one, when the season's finally over and you moved on to coaching other teams?
Yeah, it is hard to think about that. I'm trying really, really hard to enjoy this experience with this group. I was just talking to some high school coaches that came to practice today down here for the state tournament, and they wanted to come watch us practice, which is a credit to this team too. I mean, a few years ago, I don't think anybody was interested in watching us practice, and I think high school coaches appreciate what this team has become. But yeah, it's hard to think about that. I'm just trying to enjoy the journey with this group. It's one of those teams that you're going to look back on and like they don't make them like this very often. This is a group that I told a month or two ago that they better enjoy this because it just doesn't come around very often. And what I will appreciate the most is their leadership, and it's been constant. Like it's been from Nina getting her feet wet and understanding what the team needed, and Jordyn becoming Jordyn again really after what she went through. I think when they almost like met in the middle of the summer, and they realized that we could be special and that they were going to take the reins of that. And it's been their leadership. I mean, their numbers are great, their performance is great and all of that. But I think what I will appreciate the most is the efforts that they've made off the court to make this team really special.
Best basketball moment. What's your favorite moment on the court?
Like together this year?
Just all time, because we're talking about the whole thing right now.
I have a couple. One is winning a state championship in high school, because I didn't realize how like not everybody has a ring in high school, and they're hard to come by. And I know that Texas high school state championships are no joke. Even the team now is so invested, and they're who's winning this, who's winning that. So I know that that's a really special thing to do is win state. So that was pretty cool. I also got to play with my sister on that team. She's 3 years older than me. She was a senior, I was a freshman, so we got a ring together. And my first year here, beating Middle Tennessee was I feel like that game put confidence in us for the rest of years to come. Cause yeah, I don't know. That was just a really good win, and we had that confidence.
Well, yeah, you look at that win and it's almost this team's arrived.
Yeah.
They're for real now. Because rattled off 8 straight after that, right? Headed into the Conference USA tournament.
Yeah, and they were such a powerhouse, in Conference USA, and yeah, that was a special win.
Yeah.
I would say for me, just my second year at my school that I was at, I kind of got down on myself and I didn't want to play basketball no more, and I kind of didn't believe in myself, and I was just I'm done. I want to go back to Puerto Rico. That was my conversation with my parents every single day. I just didn't think that I was good enough because of stuff that was going on, and just kind of going to another school and kind of getting awards. It was kind of a boost. You can still do it, and it's worth it. I kind of started believing in myself again. So I would say that was a big moment for me. And then I would say this year, there's been a lot of good wins that we enjoy a lot, but I would say after beating Memphis, coming back after being down 11 points, I don't know how much left, 2 minutes.
11, yeah.
I think that showed everyone. I mean, Coach told me she already knew that we were resilient and that we could do it, but I feel that kind of proved that we can do anything that we want. So it was it was just a great feeling, hard to describe.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the Memphis game because that was obviously I'm right next to y'all during all the games. I want to say it was between the third and fourth quarter. I don't even think any of the coaches were over in the huddle. You took command of the huddle and were come on guys, we got this. We are getting back into this game, and lo and behold, it happened. Is that something you're thinking I got to go fire the team up, or is that just natural leadership knowing what to do in the moment?
I feel it happens a lot. It just happens, but sometimes I'm not gonna lie. I be down on myself too. I'm human, if I'm not doing great. And sometimes Jordyn does a great job. We need to huddle, or come on, y'all. So that's kind of a reminder that we're good. And I feel in that game, the huddles were the most important part of the game because that's what kept us in it. How positive we were being towards each other and just going play by play.
It seems like you have a really good sense of when to keep it loose and when to tighten it up, when to kind of maybe get on yourself. That was another thing. You got on yourself in that huddle too. You said, I need to pick it up, and we are going to pick it up. That's a great characteristic in a point guard, right, Coach? Having someone
sure.
that knows when to maybe turn it on, when to turn it off. You've driven a lot of comparisons to Jamie Carey as a player from what I've heard. How much has she helped on your journey, both in basketball and outside of basketball?
Ooh, Coach Jamie has helped me a lot. Like, I didn't know that in a couple of months, I don't know how many months I've been here, not even a year, she could help me that much. Like, personally, I was going through some, like, hard moments, and she just wouldn't let me down. Like, every time I would come to a workout, even if I was not smiling a little bit, she already knew that there was something wrong with me. And she would, like, get it out of me, and, like, not everybody can, like, has that ability. So just, I feel like Coach Jamie is always going to be one of the most important people for me. And it's kind of sad that it was just 1 year, but that's just God's plan. But I love her to it.
Nina, you've been at a few schools, but it's here that you've really been able to realize your potential and be who you can be. What is it about UTSA and this program that's allowed you to do that?
I will start off with Coach. Like, Coach kind of she just told me, like, this is your team. Like, you can just lead them, do whatever you want with them. And I feel like every time I have, like, Coach's confidence, that's kind of all I need. And then, not to brag about Jordyn, but just having, just such a talented person on your team, that just makes everything easier. Like, it makes my life so much easier. Like, I don't think people understand. Sometimes I think I had, like, 19 points, and I was just, like, I couldn't even take the credit because just having Jordyn on the court makes my life so much easier. And I will forever say that. Like, she's setting a screen, people are more concerned about her than me. Like, that's just the truth. So it's just like, I don't like taking the credit because that's kind of like, she just does it for me.
You take some pride in hearing that, Jordyn?
I mean, yeah, but I feel the same way about her. Like, I think that when she's on the court, like, it's easier for me. So, I don't know.
I feel like that's what makes this team special.
Yeah, like, everything's easy.
And that, Jordyn, you've established yourself as the best player in the conference, one of the best players in the country, and yet you are focused on the team concept. You don't get caught up in your headlines. Where does that come from within you, and why have you been able to stay focused on the team?
I've always been on, like, a really team-oriented team, like, my whole entire life, and I feel like I've been, like, really blessed to have great teams every single step of the way. I grew up on an AAU team that we spent years together. Like, my entire AAU career, I played with the same people. So I just value friendship and, relationships, and everything kind of comes naturally after that. Like, it's fun when you play with your friends on the court, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Coach, what's it been like for you to coach a team, especially in this day and age where you don't have the egos, everybody's focused on one goal?
Yeah, it's not normal, for sure. And that's why I continually say that how special this group is because, I mean, we've had moments of, and I would say probably, if anything, it's the young ones that immaturity, and things like that what's amazing about it is the self-correction. Like, it doesn't last. If there is a moment, which, like Nina said, we're all human. Even if there are moments of, I don't feel like doing this today, or it's not my day, or whatever, the self-correction of A, the individuals, and B, the team. And then the last piece I would say is just how cohesive and good the staff has been. And I think that's, the players feed off of that, I think, knowing that everybody has the same purpose. Everybody's in it together, so it's a priceless year. I mean, I think that when we've all been on other teams that you knew had potential, but they had distractions. For whatever reason, this team has decided to put whatever's going on in their world aside, for the time that we have together, and it's really special. I mean, there's no question about it, and I mean, I think you don't very often win a championship without those type of qualities, which is, I mean, Jordyn's right. I mean, I can look back and think that the state championship I won as a player and a coach in high school is one of my most memorable moments, but it's because when you start to put those together, you realize, like, they all have the same qualities. Those teams have the same qualities when they win championships, and that's the same ones that this team has.
Nina and Jordyn, I had a question for both of y'all. A lot of times I talked to the coach about this a little bit yesterday afternoon about the first practice that I saw y'all in earlier last summer. I believe it was first week of July 2 or first week of July or whatever. And Nina, I think you must have had 6 or 8. Y'all were going up and down and scrimmaging that day, and I remember you had a bunch of assists, and I know Jordyn caught a bunch of them down low, just passes right on the fingertips. And it struck me how well y'all played together, and I know y'all hadn't been out there with each other very much to that point. Can y'all talk a little bit about how it was that you were able to mesh with each other so quickly?
I mean, I kind of already knew that, like, I kind of need to get the ball to Jordyn so we can, not so we can score, but like, kind of. It just makes everybody's life easier, as I was saying. But like, she was just running the court, and it was just open. So I was just getting it to her, and I feel like those practices in the summer, even at the rec, they helped a lot, like with our chemistry. Like I was seeing her running every single time, and it's kind of hard sometimes with a post because if they run one time and you don't give it to them, sometimes they get mad. They're like, I mean, I'm running, what are you doing? Why are you not passing it to me? And I'm never minding that. Like I always tell her, like, Jordyn, if you're open, I don't give it to you, tell me something. And she was kind of like, I know you're going to pass it to me every time I'm open, but I'm like, you need to tell me because I need to know. Like, I like that, you know? So I kind of thought that, I don't know, she just makes it easy. I feel like I keep saying the same thing, but she just does.
Yeah, I've played with really good point guards on every team that I've played on. Like, I'm, bringing up, like, my past and everything, but I've always played with a really good point guard, and I guess I know what they're looking for, and I think my IQ is really good. So, one thing I take pride in is, like, getting open and, like, always trying to get open and, open in the post, and however way I'm being guarded, just try to get my hand out, and catch any pass I can. So, yeah, I take pride on catching passes as well, so I know that's really hard. But, yeah, I love assisting, and I love catching passes.
And also, for both of y'all, you have an opportunity to win this championship outright tomorrow in front of what's going to be a pretty big crowd. And I was just kind of curious, what are your thoughts, going into tomorrow and the big day tomorrow? I
feel like for me it will mean a lot because I've never experienced that. So I'm kind of like looking forward to it. I'm kind of sad that it's the last game, but everything comes to an end. But yeah, I'm kind of really excited to do it, and like I'm really happy that it's with this group because we've worked so hard. So it's kind of like it just feels good. And even though that's not the goal, like we're still focused on getting to the March Madness, but that's something along the way that we should celebrate and be happy for. So I'm really excited.
I would say I'm always just trying to stay grounded and stay in the present because it's easy to get ahead of myself and, already see confetti and already, hold the trophy above my head. So I just try to think about like what I'm gonna have for dinner tonight instead of games to come.
What
so,
cupcakes you're baking.
Right. So
Cooking for me?
yeah, I'm just trying to stay present and enjoy this life and, just win when we're supposed to win and take it possession by possession. I still don't feel like it's the end though. Like it doesn't even feel like this is our last home game. I feel like I have a lot more games to go. So hopefully we can keep it that way.
If I could say something.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So, just like being honest, I want to like shout out. Yeah, there you go, Coach. Because like I know that Jordyn feels the same way because we talk about this like all the time. But we've transferred, so we've experienced different coaches, and I always tell the girls like we get it good here. Like we have a coach that just cares about everybody. Like even if you're not getting 1 second on the court, she still cares about you as a person. She cares about your grades. She kind of like goes like this. Like coaches don't do that. Like if you're messing up and you don't care or something, like they don't care about you. So it's kind of like I just want to tell you that I really appreciate you. And every time that I feel like I'm not good mentally, and I come into your office, you always make me feel better. So just never change. Always keep being that person for
I'm
everybody.
too old to change.
Yeah, you stay being like that, and I know that me and Jordy were really strong. Like our personalities are really strong, but you being able to do with us, and I mean, you make our lives better and every day better. So
Absolutely.
keep it up.
Thank you.
Coach, I know you're trying to stay in the moment, but as you think back to you came here and you inherited a 2-win program, there weren't many folks coming to the games, and we're talking about celebrating a championship and maybe a record-breaking crowd tomorrow. What do you think about when you reflect on all that?
It really is amazing. I mean, you know, it's crazy because these guys won't appreciate this. I'm not sure anybody in the room, maybe Jerry. The first team I coached here will be one of my all-time favorites. Because they bought into the process. And they're really the reason why we're here today. Alyssa Coleman, you know, Haley Atwood, like I could go down the line, JP, you know, LaPrasia, those are kids that, and the ones that stayed here, you know, that's really the reason why we're where we are, because they're the ones that decided on what the culture was going to be like. And they're the ones that bought into what we were doing, and then we were able to have retention, the staff. I mean, everybody's still here but one person. It's incredible 4 years later that there's as many people still here. But yeah, it's amazing. It really is. I just want to say something about, like, I go back to Jordyn talking about that everybody doesn't have a ring. I mean, we're going to, you know, cut a net down. Regardless of what happens tomorrow, we're not assuming we're going to win. We understand that. Like, we got to play tomorrow. We know that. But we still have an opportunity to cut a net down, put a hat on, and buy a ring. Everybody doesn't get to do that at all. And I think what I appreciate the most about this, and I said something yesterday about the fact that this is damn hard. What we're doing and being able to stay focused on your task every single day for a 18-game stretch, be selfless with a whole entire group of people is really, really hard to do. The journey of conference play is so hard. And for us to be where we are it's incredible. First of all, it's a testament to the commitment that everybody's made. But also, like, after going through this again, I think it is tragic that conference champions don't get automatic bids. I mean, that's what all this stuff is, I've just been processing all of this. Like, how do you keep us out of the tournament if we don't win the conference tournament? This is a team that has sustained excellence for a really long period of time, which is the only way you win a conference, is you have some luck somewhere along the way, which we probably did at Memphis, but you also have something in you to get through this whole 18-game process. I think that's what I appreciate the most. I want for them to win the tournament. I want them to go to the NCAA tournament so bad for them, but I'm more proud of this because the journey is so difficult, and what they've done is people can't do it. It takes a really special group to do what we're doing.
Jordyn, neither that kind of was a little tongue twister. Neither one of y'all is a San Antonio native, and it seems like y'all become pillars in the community here, especially in the basketball community here.
Jordyn told me 2 years ago she was going to buy a ranch, and that she was staying in Texas. I don't know if she's changed her mind or not, but she's going to buy a farm.
Yeah.
But like the community has just rallied around y'all so much throughout y'all's time here, and especially over these past few weeks. How meaningful is it that a city like San Antonio is coming out and on pace to break an attendance record to send y'all off in style tomorrow?
It's really cool. You know, coming down to Texas, I didn't know like what to expect, but yeah, I just think that the community, you know, it is obviously like lacking a women's basketball team, a professional one. So it was good for us to build our program so that we can get to where we are now. But yeah, I feel like I literally love it here, and like I want to live here. And so everyone is just really supportive, especially at UTSA. You know, our student athletes are really supportive, and along with their staff and, you know, our other faculty. So I think it's just a community that, you know, I didn't know was so communal.
I would say it feels great because, I mean, I've been in San Antonio for 3 years now, and I didn't have this community. Like, I didn't have San Antonio rooting for me. So now it's a great feeling just knowing that, like, people here actually have your back. You know, like, you don't have a job, they might help you out, you know? So it's just good sometimes just being you and, like, good things happening. And I try, like, me and Jordyn talk about this all the time. Like, we don't look at the comments because there's always somebody saying something that you don't want to read. But sometimes, like, people send me certain, like, positive comments of, like, little girls saying, I want to be like her, stuff like that. So that kind of, like, it makes me feel good and just makes me want to continue to be myself.
Jordyn, could you describe Nina in one word?
One, I have like 3. I would say dependable.
Nina?
Yes. I would say resilient.
I think those are 2 good words. Now, y'all can work together on this. What is one word y'all would use to describe Coach?
Queen.
Didn't even have to think about it.
Boss.
Now, we'll close with this if no one else has any more questions. All 3 y'all, what would your message be to a high school senior that's going to step on a collegiate court for the first time next year?
I would say just never stop being yourself. Never stop going to the gym and working because coaches always see that and they care. I would say freshman year is like this. Like, you have really good games where you play a lot. You have other games where you might not play and you might not know why, but you shouldn't, like, stop, and you should just keep going, showing up every single day because that's what matters, and just never stop being yourself.
I would say go with your gut. Never get out of the gym. Always stay in the gym and go somewhere where you're loved.
Love the process.
All right. Pack the convo. Saturday, March 1st,
Yeah.
UTSA versus Florida
Birds
Atlantic at
up.
noon.
Yeah.
Birds up. Thank you.
That was fun.